will dance such drum dances to pray for a good harvest for the next year. When you're dancing, you will hold this drum. Can I have a try? Of course. You put your finger here, your forefinger here. And also you have to put your elbow right next to this handle, and then you shake it with rhythms. It looks simple, but when I try it by myself, it feels very difficult. You have to use your forces to play the drum. Much better. Your drum sounds louder than mine. Is there any specialties about your costumes? Is the Tibetan wool jacket? But since we consider that wool in summertime is not very cold, so we will make it very light in summertime. And also when we are playing the drum, I think it really takes a lot of efforts from your hands. Yes, particularly it requires some efforts from your wrists. Could you show us some moves like this? What are the other dancers doing? They're just performing such a ritual when they are sacrificing for a good harvest next year. And now such a performance will be on the stage as well. At some certain points of the year, we will stage such a performance. Usually, they will be seen during the lunar calendar February. And now, this dance and this ritual has become a local culture. Many tourists coming here would love to feel it. Yes. It's our ethnic culture and is quite representative. In 2008, such a performance has been listed as our national intangible cultural heritage. And I see that they usually stand in different forms. Since we have put this on the stage openly to the public, we have done some readjustment. So during this dance, we will change our forms. Thank you. Now you can join your dancers. So for Lisa village, even though the village is small in size, but from the expressions of the locals, they are very happy and cheerful. I think this is thanks to the poverty relief program locally over the past several years. You will learn more about that. Now, some more information about the costumes. In the beginning of the show, I told you that this costume is quite typical and unique with wool makeup. Now, let's invite our local performer to give us more details about such a costume. First of all, let's start from the head. The headwear. This headwear is made of coral reef. Coral reef. Why would you make this headwear with coral reef? We usually call this headwear the coral hat. Usually such a hat will be made in the trapezoid shape, and usually it's used for some big festivals like the wedding ceremonies for girls, because after all it's very treasurable and the corals are usually valuable. And what about the relation with the headwear and the costume? Now you could look at this lady. The Tibetan women would braid their hair into three beams. So usually we call such a headwear the three pigtail headwear because of the three pigtails of the woman's hair. And sometimes the pigtail could be very long, even touching the ground when they stand up. And now I see the costume has some blue color in the base. Yes. Actually, we could trace the history of such a costume to the ancient palace of Lhasa. Usually, they would wear blue robes. And then on the outside of the blue clothes, they would wear some green or blue jackets, which represents life and ocean, because after all, Tibetans really worship the harmony of man and nature. About the pigtail, I'm wondering that this lady is wearing the black pigtails. Is there any kind of difference if the status of the marital status of the woman would determine the color of their hair? Actually, this type of pigtail would mean that she is married. If a lady's hair has a red ribbon, it means they are married. And also, below the waist, there will be a pigtail, but in between the top and the below pigtails, they're not bonded together with a pigtail. This means they are married. Wow, very interesting. There are some special features, and we can tell instantly if they are Tibetan local costume. The first feature is they're wearing such a coral-made headwear. And also, you will have to look at their pigtails. If there are three pigtails, like you said, if it's an unmarried maiden, then this part will be red. And if it's black in the middle, it means they're married. And also, you have to count three pigtails. Another feature is above the waist, usually the married woman will not braid their pigtails. So that is quite typical of local. Yes. As I said, they have a history dating back to the ancient Lhasa palace. And it's a Tibetan feature. It's very valuable, and it's something to really appreciate. I do believe that when our visitors from outside see such a costume, they would have a better understanding of local culture. So costume is really like a window of local culture. Thank you again. Now let's talk about the name of the village, Lisai village. It was told that there used to be 3 monks coming to Lisai village. They are wearing golden color. So Lisai in Tibetan language has a meaning of golden wearings and also the mountains. This village used to be poverty-stricken. So how did Lisai village got out of poverty? Let's listen to the history. This is Madame Zhang Guiping, the local caterer of Lisai village. She will take us to local households to learn some stories of poverty alleviation. This is a cultural plaza where we are standing. On the walls, there write some local village rules. There are 16 of such rules. When we are holding the village convention, villagers will contribute their own wisdom about the local rules. I could see some, like you should not whisper about each other's gossips, and also we should live in harmony with our neighbors. And also, when the lady married to a guy, she should not ask more than 50,000 RMB yuan as the betrothal gifts. And also, when we are receiving the visitors, we should not overcharge them. I see that the villagers are really keen on improving their civility gradually. Yes, that's the reason of setting up such rules. Now it's very hot right now with the sunshine casting down, but I see that the weather is changing all the time. Sometimes it's cloudy, but instantly after, the sun will shoot down. And also there is big temperature difference in the morning and in the daytime and in the evening. And also the local villagers will have a very delicious local food. I saw some very significant signs here. At every crossroad, there will be such a board writing farmers' food. It's mainly targeting at the visitors. This village is not populated. In total, there are 57 households with 290 people, but 36 households have opened such farmers' restaurants, which means almost half of local villagers are running their restaurants. In the beginning, I said the costumes, the dances are relevant to poverty relief program. The villagers want to, for one thing, protect the environment, the green mountains, and for another, developing their economy. Now let's go to those farmers' restaurants. This household got out of poverty last year. Thank you. It's a gesture of welcome. They're giving us the katas, to me and to the photographer. Such a farmhouse is commonplace. Now, this is the high season of tourism. There must be a lot of visitors to your farmhouse, right? Yes. I am Yao Yeru. This is my farmhouse. When I am interviewing the villagers, they sound very confident. Now let's take a tour of the farmhouse. There are 6 rooms. Sorry, 5 rooms. Let's go into one of them. What is this room used to be? It used to be a kitchen before being turned into a farmhouse. I see that the location of such a kitchen is different from what I usually saw in the plain areas. This is the heating system. In the past time, such a heating system is beyond the imagination of local villagers. Is the government help the villagers installing the heating system together, or do you come up with the heating idea by yourself? It's actually thanks to the government. This is an oven. In southern China, it's very sunny in the summertime, so there will be no need for such ovens. But in Tibet, it's usually a big temperature difference, particularly in the nighttime, it's very cold. So you are preparing such an oven for the visitors coming here. Yeah, we are boiling water here on the oven. The visitors could enjoy tea with the hot water boiled. Let's take a look at this. This is a Wi-Fi password. How did you come up with this idea? Is your farmhouse the only one with the Wi-Fi? Actually, all farmhouses here are equipped with a Wi-Fi. Why? It's convenient. So when the visitors come in, after ordering the food, they will be sitting here waiting for the food. As long as they have Wi-Fi, the visitors will take their time just reading the news and doing other things. So they would be patient with the food during waiting. This is the tea. Let's take a closer look. Usually, for the Tibetan tea, in the bowls, there will be just some tea inside, but in this bowl, there are some printed words. Actually, that is an introduction about to domestic 5 cultures. Our bowls will have 5 colors. And all of those bowls serving tea are prepared by the Poverty Relief Agency. It's one way of introducing culture and developing local industry. I see roses and chrysanthemum, sugar, and longan. Yes, when visitors come here and take their seats, they would like to take a sip of the local tea. Mr. Yang, am I going to be lucky enough to taste something in your house? Of course, please be my guest. The meals, the dishes are already served. Could you introduce to me what is that one up there? That is the water container. Through the pipeline, the water will be introduced in. We don't need the wells to fetch water anymore. So I see, even though the house has some years of history, there are a lot of modern senses here. When did you start your farmhouse? In 2007. What is the investment? About over 100,000. Is it all your money? I borrowed some from the relatives. From 2017 till now, it's 2 years' time of the operation of the house. Have you repaid all of the loans to your relatives? Yes, I did. What did you do to earn so many money? I have done a lot of part-time jobs. For example, carrying the bricks and all the other labors in Lhasa. And sometimes I go to work in the other place, for example, Shanghai factories. How long have you been leaving house to work elsewhere? I used to work elsewhere for about 10.5 months, for 1 year. How many people do you have in your family? 6. And are your children in school? Yes, 2. 2 kids are in school. In the past, your only source of revenue is to work elsewhere. But now almost every family member can do something with the farmhouse to earn some money. Yes, that is the story. Now let's enjoy the meal. This is local pancake. The dough cake. This is vegetable. It's very crispy. This is the fiddlehead vegetable. This is all the local vegetables. We usually eat such vegetables. Could you show how to eat such a pancake, wrapping up the vegetables? Yes, the pancake will wrap up such a local vegetable and the preserved meat. Wow, it's too much. In the past, such a food will only be seen during the festivals, but now it's very commonplace. People can access such a meal every day. You could give it to our photographer. Help yourself. It's delicious. You grow those vegetables by yourself? Yes. It's not bought. This plate is about the dried vegetables. And this vegetable is called Pelvetia silicosa because of the shape of the vegetable. It looks like the deers. I hope I'm not interrupting. No, you are not. Actually, the live streaming today is themed under poverty alleviation. All we are seeing are relevant to the efforts of poverty reduction. The local custom and local culture can attract our visitors. And now we will show you two windows to show you the landscape, the aerial landscape of this village. We are now in the eastern part of the Tibetan Plateau, and this village is also in the southeastern part. We have a river crossing through this village, so it is very beautiful. In the past, our Tibetans lived just by the mountains and the rivers, but they were very poor. Maybe they have to work elsewhere, like in Qinghai or Shanghai, to earn some money and support their family. For a household of 6, maybe only one man is the only source of revenue. But now, by developing and protecting the local resources, they have been much more financially standing. And like I said, among the 57 households, 36 households have developed to some kind of farmhouses. Could you give us a hint of your annual revenue? It's over 100,000 RMB yuan. that's quite conservative. I heard that the average annual revenue is about 21,800 RMB yuan in this village. What is the happiest thing when you earn money? What is the first thing you buy with the money? We buy a car. On a mortgage? No, we didn't borrow money to buy the car. Why is buying a car the happiest thing for you? In the past, it's totally beyond our imagination. We never had enough money. But now, our life has been transformed because of the policy support. And also, when you were working elsewhere, you must be homesick a lot. Yes. How was your life like in those days? I was in very bad shape. I usually sleep in the street and I cannot feed myself. And also in the past, without very good conditions, the small cars cannot even enter our village, so we never thought about buying a car before when we were poor, but now it's a different story. Our conditions have been much improved. The government has helped a lot. And now we are able to open such farmhouses. You have borrowed like 50,000 from your relatives, and in less than 2 years' time, you have repaid all of the borrowed money, and you never borrowed from the bank to buy a car, so that's a very good achievement. Are there a lot of such villagers like Mr. Yang? Over half. Over half households are just like Mr. Yang's. They all bought cars. I saw the boards at the crossroads indicating the farmhouses. So everyone is catching up. How many years have you been doing this job? 9 years. And in 2014, we had the first farmhouse, but at that time, the village is underdeveloped in infrastructure. But then, with the poverty relief program in place, the infrastructure has been much improved, and the farmhouses are surfacing in a large number. I believe more youngsters in their 30s would love to come back to their hometowns and start their own businesses with the good conditions. Yes, I believe so. Could you introduce more about your house? Do you have a menu? Here you are. Do you make your menu together? The menus are usually unified in every farmhouse. The prices are fixed. For example, the onion and the fungus is 26 RMB yuan. So who set the price? We have some supervision body. We could add some dishes or delete some dishes, but the prices cannot be changed willfully. Yes. If the visitors complain about some issues, can they? Yeah, we have a telephone, we have a call number there. If they want to complain, they could feel free to call. That happened. Will there be penalties if you are complained? Of course, there will be some penalties. This is the QR code for farmhouses in the villages. Even though the houses look the same as before, a lot of modern elements have been added. For example, the Wi-Fi password, the WeChat payment. Everyone is using the WeChat payment? Yes, of course, it's more convenient. If it's just less than 100 RMB yuan, they would love to choose the WeChat payment. It's very convenient. I will not enter the kitchen. We can just look through the window to have a quick look. This is the refrigerator. What about the cooked food? The cooked food is separate from the raw materials. This is the sterilization cabin. Those are the cups. How many visitors did you receive last year into your farmhouse? I didn't take the count, particularly in July and August, in the summertime. Will they stay overnight? Most of them are just passing by, so they will not stay overnight. If we have 10 people and we have a meal together, how much will it cost? It's about 300 RMB yuan for 10 people. It's good. Mr. Yang has been smiling all the time, so I could see that he is very happy now that they have money coming in. So you were also keeping the plants and the flowers? Yes. And also, since you have some elderly people living in your house, now you are earning money when you are living at home. That would be more convenient to take care of the elderly people. And sometimes the elderly people can help. How much did you earn when you were working elsewhere every year? It's just 20,000 RMB yuan. So you had to support 6 people with 20,000. But starting from 2008, you earned more than 100,000 RMB yuan. So that's a big jump. So thank you for your information, Mr. Yang. This is the complaint number. This is about the food safety information, the certificate, and the ratings of the farmhouses. Mr. Yang's is belonging to the excellent ones. So there will be some check from the authority concerning your food safety. Yes, that's why the farmhouse looks very clean. Thank you again. Now let's move elsewhere. So this is your newly bought car? Yes. People come here driving their own cars. Have you thought about driving your car elsewhere and enjoy the sightseeing? Of course I did. I really want to. I would love to go to the surrounding villages, taking my family. Particularly in summertime, I could take my children there. So, looking into the future, when you have more money, what will be your biggest wish? I would wish the best for my children. So, you want to buy an apartment for the kids? Yes, that's my biggest wish. In the future, you could take your family members and to take the plane to the remote areas for tourism. For example, Shanghai, you used to work in Shanghai, but years later you could take them to Shanghai for sightseeing. It's a totally different feeling. You could finally enjoy the landscape. And the landscape is different from this village. Thank you. I'm very happy seeing their smiles on their faces. I couldn't help smiling myself. Yes, of course, they're happy every day now that they have money. This is like a cultural wall. Yes, it's to exhibit the agricultural civilization. But now with machinery, many of those previous equipment have been replaced. So we would love to remind our kids about those previously used agricultural tools. What about this one? What's it used for in the past? It's used for the cows to drag the vehicle. Yes. So this is also appealing to the visitors when they see such an exhibition. Now let's walk while we talk. In the 1980s, Zhuoni village was listed as the poverty-stricken county. And years later, it was re-emphasized again, so we could see the deep-rooted poverty problem locally. So for the local villagers to truly enjoy the well-of-society lives, we have chosen this village to show the achievements made towards that goal. Even though it's very small in size and in population, we could truly take it as an example about the pathway of poverty relief in Tibet. Even though in this area there are only 4 to 5 households, almost every one of them is opening a farmhouse. So those are the names of their farmhouses, a lot of them. They are quite featured. Now, on the screen, there will be 2 windows. One of them is about the aerial display, the bird view. Lisai is surrounded by mountains from 3 sides. Villagers used to say that they have been protected by the mountain gods. But this mountain is very steep. If there has been any destruction of the ecology, and during the rain time, the village will be impacted. So ecological protection will be very important. It's also one reason to attract the tourists. So it's a pathway of a combination of tourism and ecology. This village is very clean. There are a lot of such garbage bins. Is every household having such a garbage bin? Yes, everyone. And we usually differentiate between the trash cans, for example, recyclable and non-recyclable. And every day, there will be vehicles taking those trash away, and we have a landfill place for the trash in the village. This is a light on their door. Even though it's a very small gadget, it has a lot of story. Only when the villages is light up, the tourists will feel safe here and would want to enter the doorsteps. Particularly in the main road, there will be a lot of tourists crossing by, so those villagers would install such a light in their door frame to remind the tourists to be careful about the doorsteps. You have been a witness of poverty relief program in the village. Could you share with us about the changes you witnessed? The direct influence is that the villagers are living in better houses and living a better life. And also, their spirits have been lifted. And they are quite civilized. They are very friendly to the visitors, and they will not throw out the trash. In the past, even though there have been visitors here, they would not want to stay. Because in the sunny days, it's dirt all the way, and in the rainfall seasons, there will be mud everywhere. But now it's different. We have a lot of parking lots, and almost every household will be open to the visitors with at least 4 to 5 rooms. They can accommodate like 50 visitors. This village is truly very clean. Your village must be one demo place for zero garbage in Gannan. Yes, we are very proud of it. Zero trash, zero garbage. In the Gannan region, we are highlighting the campaign to guarantee zero trash on the streets. That's very difficult to achieve. Days ago, I interviewed a visitor. He told me that he just come back from Gannan. I asked him about the deepest impression in Gannan. He said that there was no trash on the street. So that is an example of how the visitors could be the promoters, the ambassadors of the Gannan villages, as long as you have protect the environment. Today is a weekday, so in our camera you cannot see a lot of people. And usually, starting from June, in the weekends there will be more visitors. In Zhuhai County, we have a big temperature difference. So in July, August, and September, with a better climate, there will be more tourists. And we receive the most part of the visitors from the surrounding counties, like Lintan County. After 6 o'clock in the evening, you will see a lot of such visitors coming from surrounding villages. On the opposite side of the mountain, that is Lintan County and Ming County. And on the opposite side, that direction, is Diebu County. So Lijai village has been surrounded by the mountains. That also explains the beautiful landscape in the village. This is like a garden. We want to attract the visitors to enjoy the food, the landscape, and also have some activities. To give you an example, the local village has integrated the manpower. 290 population here. For those with the skills, the number is about 210. So for that group of people, they could open some shops selling handicrafts or open some farmhouses. Also, the local village have integrated the land area. For 160 mu of land, half of them has been transformed into the lot for flowers or the picking up for tourists. For example, that piece of land is growing some beans. The visitors, when they come here, they would enjoy a lot of picking up activities. They could be part of the agricultural process. And also thirdly, the farmhouses have been integrated with the unified planning. So from the look of them, it would be very coordinated and beautiful. Yes, we had a transformation program. For example, the pavements will be laid down with unified stones, the chosen stones, and also the panels, the rooftops will be integrated as well with just one style. So when I come here, I could feel the green mountains and the blue skies and the clean water. And I could also feel how those mountains and waters have been transformed into the precious treasures. It's of course indispensable from the jobs we have done, like sanitary, transportation, infrastructure development, and also even as small as the Wi-Fi preparation. So is the village wholly covered by Wi-Fi? Yes, it's fully covered. It's one way to attract the visitors, and that's why you're coming here to broadcast. The visitors are also loving to broadcast as well, for example, through Douyin app. So there will be a lot of new efforts of poverty relief. The government is playing a guiding role. They're guiding us to protect the ecology and create wealth, but the ways may be diverse. It's not distant from the county by driving, but if they want to specifically come to the village for tourism, it truly requires good landscape and good culture. The local government is making endeavors. We have a VR panorama. You can scan a QR code. In every farmhouse, you could have a closer look through the VR technology. So it's modern technology application here. That wall, it's to celebrate the 70th anniversary of PRC. In August, it's going to be very beautiful. And in the distance, we could see the windmill. It's very beautiful. This is also the way of the wind, because below the mountain is Tao River. Tao River is a branch of Yellow River. It crosses through this village. That's why this village is bestowed with a lot of mineral resources and natural resources. What are they planting here? This is the oilseed rapes. We are producing organic food, non-hazardous food, by producing the oil seeds. We would cook food with them. It's more delicious and safer. So today we have experienced the local costumes, the dances, the farmhouses, and also the gardening area. It's exactly the route for the tourist. Usually the tourists, when they come here, they could taste the local food. And when they walk into this green area, they would have a good view of the greenness. I believe that the rape flowers in July would be really a feast to the eyes. We chose Lisai village today because even though it's small, after years of development, we could have a snapshot about the changes in the Tibetan villages as a whole. Now let's do some sum up. In the beginning, we saw the drum dances, which is the national intangible cultural heritage. We saw the three pigtails costume. It's unique, and it's one big part of the local tourism. And then we have seen the menus in the farmhouses, and we learned that all the prices of the dishes in the menus have to be set by the local agency. They cannot change the price by themselves. And also, there has been an establishment of the Farmhouse Association to supervise, to support those farmhouses to improve their quality of service. And then we come to this green area. It's all green. And after perhaps 1 month, the oilseed flower will blossom. There will be more visitors coming here by that time to enjoy the coolness and the greenness here. And we also learned that Diebu County is in the surroundings. Chengdu and Xining locals would love to take their cars and drive here for tourism. So ecology, services, and tourism choices have given this green county, green village more opportunities, but everything is indispensable from infrastructure support. For example, transportation. Only with those support can we really embrace new lives for the 290 population here. 57 households have gotten out of poverty. 21,800 RMB was the annual salary last year. And also today, we have heard some stories about poverty reduction. In the future, we will give you more stories about the household poverty relief. This is the end of today's live streaming. Thank you, and we wait for your coming.